Immortal. What's up, my fellow immortals? It's 8:55 in the morning. It's the 5th day of September in the year of our Lord. Hello, Kitty, patron saint of merchandising. It is I, your favorite immortal, the OGGM, coming to you live from Site B. And we have the playtest, well, the first round of the playtest for the War of Immortals, the introductory adventure that is going to take Pathfinder 2 2nd Edition into Pathfinder Remastered Core 2 2nd Edition Electric Boogaloo with Bacon. We discussed this yesterday. We went over what we know about it, how it is. Let's say it's an homage. It's an homage. It's a loving embracement of the classic story of the resetting of the universe via the fall of the gods, which of course has never been done before. Oh wait, yeah, it has. Literally, it's the Time of Troubles. They're doing the Time of Troubles. They're doing their take on the Time of Troubles, the Avatar trilogy, which, if you're not familiar with, was way back in the old days of D&D. They switched editions, as you know. And I think it was 2nd to 3rd. Was it? Am I wrong? Was it 2nd to 3rd? The way they switched from 2nd edition D&D to 3rd edition D&D was a year-long adventure called The Time of Troubles, or the Avatar trilogy. And there's also a series of books with the same name. And this described how, during this time period, the cosmology of the Forgotten Realms was devastated. All the gods were cast down to Earth, stuck in the bodies of their avatars, and there was this, year-long epic quest that you as player characters could go through to help or hinder the gods. And through these epic steps, you could maybe even change which gods were able to become gods again. And it was recommended that you played the pre-generated characters, Midnight, Kellenvor, Cyric, and the others. But we played our own characters, which was probably a mistake. So none of us became gods because it was pre-written that Midnight had to become the new god of magic. Cyric had to become the new god of death and evil and stuff like that. So nothing we did changed the outcome of the modules. And Lord knows we tried. Talk about railroading. I mean, yeah. So this sort of feels like they're doing the same thing. They've made it clear that Pathfinder 2 Remastered Core 2nd Edition Electric Boogaloo is going to involve the fall of the gods, the regurgitating, reshaping of the cosmology of the Pathfinder universe, because they are translating from OGL Pathfinder to ORC Pathfinder. And they want to make sure there's nothing connecting Pathfinder 2nd Edition with Dungeons and Dragons 5e or the OGL. So they're trying to, change as many names, change as many mechanics, change as many ideas. If there's gods in the Pathfinder universe that also appear in the D&D universe, like Tyr, they're probably gone. Now, mind you, they don't really have to do this. It's already been gone over by people far smarter than me, that the things that they are the most worried about, like the word drow or dro, are things that Wizards of the Coast doesn't own. Meanwhile, the one main thing they're still using, strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, armor class, hit points, level, that's Wizard. That's 100% D&D. That is what Wizards owns. Lock, stock, and barrel. You can paramutate off of all the other stuff any way you want, and Wizards can't really do anything. It's like, oh, you've got dark elves, we've got dark elves. Well, we're going to claim we own them, but really we don't, because the idea of dark elves existed before any of us was ever born, but we're Wizards of the Coast, or at least we're going to try. Wizards is like, oh, guys in robes who cast spells, we can't really copyright that. So, yeah, that's what they're doing. And they told us that there would be 2 new classes that were paramount in this story of changing the layout between Pathfinder 1st Edition, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Pathfinder 1st Edition Remastered, and the brand new, it's not a new version, but yes, it is, Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered Core with Bacon that's coming out at the end of 2023, early 2024. 3 brand new books, but you don't have to buy them, except yes, you do have to buy them, because we're changing a bunch of mechanics. Let's take a look at these 2 new classes, and specifically what in the name of John Cena is a rare class and how is it different than a normal class. And I've got my Pathfinder 2 2nd edition book here so we can take a look at it. All right, blah, 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 blah. Paizo, blah, 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 blah. Animus, key attribute, wisdom, hit points, D8 plus constitution modifier. Initial proficiencies, perception, fortitude, reflex, will, nature and religion, and 2 additional skills plus 2 the intelligence modifier. Trained in simple weapons, trained in unarmored attack, trained in light armor, trained in medium armor, trained in unarmored defense, trained in spell attack, trained in spell DC, trained in animus class DC. Okay, blur. So druid. It's a druid. Okay. Initial proficiencies. Okay, at first level, they get an ability called Apparition Attunement. Animus, blah, 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 blah. You make a bond with a spirit, and that spirit gives you your animal. And some animals' powers can attune to more than one spirit. You can sometimes maybe even change what the spirit gives you in between sleeping. So normal spell casting for a character class like this, the same with the warlock. Each day during your daily preparations, choose 2 apparitions from the list on page 12 to attune to. Of these, choose one that was your primary. Your attune apparition each grant you knowledge in the form of lore skills and a repertoire of additional spells you can cast using the spell casting. And your primary apparition grants you even further power from the unique vessel focus where you are higher level, a unique avatar form. When you refocus, you can change, which you're currently attained to. So this is a very complicated way of explaining a very simple mechanic to try and make it sound like it's different than what you already have. You refocus, you diverse, you change your preparations. Big words, big words, big words. Which, you know, what they're saying is at the end of a long rest, you choose what abilities you want to use for the day. Each of those abilities gives you a certain amount of bonuses. At the end of the day, when you long rest again, you can choose to refocus on those or pick another 2 or however many you have access to. And as you go up higher level, those abilities will give you more powers and you'll have a wider selection of things to choose from, i.e. spellcaster. You're a spellcaster. When you rest, you pick what spells you want to cast, or or if you're, so this is sort of a druid warlock. It feels like it's a druid warlock, you get abilities from your thing, and when you rest, you can change the abilities. Okay, we have the rules of getting their spell casting, what their spell casting are. They can, you can attune to your thing to get more spells. So a little bit of sorcerer. Second level, you get a feat. Third level, you get a feat. Fourth level, you get the skill increase. You get apparition, ancestry feat at 5th, expert spellcaster at 7, apparition awareness at 9th, advanced interlocation at 10th, apparition warning at 11th, simple weapon expertise at 11, a 4th apparition at 12th, weapon specialization at 13, master spellcaster at 15th, legendary spellcaster at 19th, supreme incarnation of 19th. You have class specific feats. That allow you to empower your aspiration. This is very confusing. So you attune to this spell source. This spell source gives you powers. At the end of the day, you can refocus. But you can also disperse them to get a temporary powerful boon. You can cast your spells normally, or your attuned apparition can cast your spells for you. Regardless of which, you draw from 2 different sources, but you get the same. What? You can draw upon your attuned apparition as the second source of magical knowledge and power. You gain additional spell slots and a spell repertoire from your attuned apparition. At first level, you can cast 1 first-level apparition spell per day. You must have 1 first-level apparition spell per day memorized. This is a collection of spells granted to you by all your attuned apparition. Any of these spells that aren't normally on the divine list are still divine spells if you cast them this way. If you increase in level, you gain further apparition spell slots. Okay. So animus spells per day. There's 1 normal spell plus 1 apparition spell at first level, 2 normal cantrips plus 2 apparition cantrips per level. Okay, so you have spells and your apparition has spells, and they could be different spells. So you could memorize Cure Light Wound and Light, and then you could have your apparition memorize Magic Missile, and then you could say, I'm casting my apparition spell, and by doing so, I lose my apparition. This is way overcomplicated for a very simple mechanic that has already been done, but they're trying to make it feel different so that people can justify playing a brand new character instead of simply saying this is a new archetype for Druid or a new archetype for Warlock. So, looks like the feats are all built around switching between you and the apparition, and allowing the apparition to take over. We've got Soul Synchronization, we've got Spirit Walk, we've got Grudge Strike, we've got Wind Seeker, we've got Apparition Quickening. These are all okay. But what was the class? There was an old class in Pathfinder that you had a friend that followed you around, and you could share with that friend. Was it the Summoner? Was it? And I remember a lot of people took the option where they could basically wear their friend, and they were all like, "I'm a Common Rider. I'm wearing my armor. I'm wearing my friend. I'm a Guyver." I don't remember the name of it, but this sounds a lot like that class. That you could have this separate entity that you're connected with that is basically a repertoire for you to store extra powers in, but you could also merge with that entity for temporary boons in exchange for losing for the rest of the day the extra spells. And then we have the different type of apparitions you can get, and then what those apparitions' powers are. One of the apparitions is Custodian of Groves and Gardens. Another is Steward of Stone and Fire. Witness to Ancient Battle. Vanguard of Roaring Waters. And we have the new spells that are available to the Ammonists only. Well, or any divine spellcaster. All right, here's what they're interested about. All right, the Exemplar. This is the one I'm interested about. The Animist is just a new way to run a Druid. It's adding Warlock powers to a Druid. So it's a Druid Warlock crossover. Remember Prestige classes? We had to get a certain amount of levels in one class and a certain amount of levels in another class before you could take a Prestige class. This almost feels like they're trying to sort of dumb down that idea. Where here's has got a little bit of Warlock power. It's got a little bit of Druid power. And then you can sort of mix and match and choose and find ways to break it, and you could absorb the powers with it. Yeah, there was also, they had a class. I don't remember what the class was called, where you had basically this spirit that followed you around and you could get abilities by merging with it. You could wear it like armor. It might, yeah. So now we have the exemplar. Key ability, strength or dex. Hit points, D10. Rarity, rare. Trained in profession, trained in fortitude, trained in reflex, trained in will. Okay, so it starts with 3 instead of 2. Did the other one start with 3? Okay, so yeah, they both start with 3. So I guess that's just a Pathfinder thing. Trained in religion, trained in 2 additional skills, trained in simple weapons, martial weapons, unarmed, light armor, unarmed, and trained in the class. Okay. All right, your first level abilities are ancestry and background, attribute boosts, initial preferences, divine sparked, and icons, spelled IKONS, and humble strikes. Class features, initial preferences, divine spark and icons. Within your soul is a teeny spark of divine power that belongs not to a deity, but something all your own. You can manifest this divine power through special items known as icons, spelled IKONS. Icon items are intrinsically linked to you, sacred vessels crystallized from your divinity that are capable of legendary feats in your hands, like a fishhook. There are 3 types of icons. Body icons are a mark on your flesh that show you are more than mortal. Tattoos. Worn icons that are like sacred clothing or other remnant, like, by loincloths. And weapon icons that let you carve your story into the world, like, I don't know, a fishhook. Yeah, it's Maui as a character class. Choose one of each type from the list down below. Your body takes on the qualities of your chosen body icon. You gain a non-magical level 0 item of your choice that satisfies the requirement for your chosen worn icon and weapon icon. Providence serves you come across these items. You might be trapped, blah, blah, blah. So basically, you start play with these 3 items. You start play with 1 tattoo, you start play with 1 magic item, and you start play with 1 weapon. By focusing your divine spark into one of these icons, you empower the icon to accomplish deeds beyond what it could in mortal hands. As long as your divine spark resides in an icon, you gain the icon's eminence effects. You can call your spark forth and place it into an icon by using the Shift Eminence action. So you can shift which icon has your divine spark that round. So it's that one's powered up and that one's not. When your spark dwells within an icon, you're able to channel your divinity through the icon in a powerful transcendent ability. Though using this will cast the divine spark out of the icon, i.e. number of times per day. So I can charge this item with a certain ability, or this item, or this side. So variations to, I don't know, divine strike from a paladin. And just for some reason you're saying, here's a free magic item. Sort of. Second level, you get class-specific feats, class-specific skills. Third levels, you get class-specific feat. At third level, you get something called Root Epitaph, which basically allows you to pick up a new skill. You also have something called, and these choices are Brave, Cunning, Mournful, or Radiant. Skill increase at 3rd, ability boost at 5th, Ancestry feat at 5th, Spirit striking at 5th. You deal 2 additional spirit damage with your weapon if that's the one that you have charged up. Weapon expertise at 5th, Domain epitaph at 7. You can choose a epitaph, following epitaph which affects your weapon icon. Boon of the Bones of the Earth, Restless as the Tide, Peerless under Heaven, Whose Cry is Thunder, and these I'll give you little extra bonuses. It's 13th level, you get a resolve. 7th level, you get something called Resolve. You have a good proficiency with Will Save. At 9th level, you get Alertness. At 9th level, you also get something like Danger Sense, which gives you proficiency in reflex saves. 9th level, you get something called Godly Expertise, ability to your proficiency task you get to increase your proficiency with when you're using your domain spells. 13th level, you get weapon mastery, blah, 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 blah. Feels a lot like a paladin that's just been, modified. Then we have some example icons. We've got like a spot, a body icon, which is a fetching one. We have like a fetching beauty mark. We have another one that's basically contact lenses. We've got one that's a scar. Here's a tattoo. Here's your weapon icons. And then your magic item icons, your like jewelry icons. And then as you level up, we got some more example feats that you can choose from. And then the credits. Well, this one's a clearer read than the other one. From what I'm seeing, the Ominous is just a way, way over convoluted, complicated way to explain what feels like a very simple mechanic. On the other hand, this one has a very simple mechanic, or variation of a mechanic we've seen before, and it's explaining it in relatively simple terms. You can charge this, you can charge that, or you can charge that. When you charge that, it does XYZ. When you charge this, it does ABC. And when you if you choose that one, it does DEF. So if you choose the weapon for the spark for that day / round / whatever, it does certain special things, and you can upgrade that. Or you could, focus all on the weapon, or you could focus on the clothing, or you could focus on the tattoos, or you could take a sort of a fair combination of both, and have, then just decide, okay, I want to charge for my weapon this. Okay, no, that's not working. I want to take the spark out of the weapon and put it into my armor so I can up my armor, so I can help out another player or whatever. Yeah, it's all just internal. There's no spells. It's just buffing yourself or buffing your item by channeling this divine spark into each of them. That's pretty simple. I don't see why this is a broken class or why it's rare. I mean, sure, it gets a little, each variation gets some special abilities, but no more or less than a paladin or any other class. I guess I got to see them in play, maybe a first level exemplar against a first level paladin, a fifth level exemplar against a fifth level paladin. This is a very paladinish feel to me, or just the idea of divine spark and getting to channel that divine spark into various incarnations in the physical world, i.e. magic fishhook, magic tattoos, magic clothing, i.e. it's Maui. It's Maui if he was a character class. So yeah. Why is this rare? Mm-hmm. We have another suggestion from another person who said that it's rare because in the terms of the other rare abilities and skills in Pathfinder 2nd edition, you could maybe choose not to include them because they have the potential to break the game in ways that the normal feats and abilities and magic items don't. So there are feats that Paizo knowingly created that could potentially, if used in the wrong hands, take the game in a direction that is out of the DM's controls and gives the players way more bonuses, unless, of course, the DM says, well, if you can have that feat, then I can have that feat. And if you can play an exemplar with how broken it supposedly is, then I, as the DM, can have NPC as exemplars. And while you, player, can only have one broken exemplar player character, I, NPC, have an infinite number of exemplar player character NPCs. So, yeah. You want that broken feat that breaks the game that's rare? Sure, go ahead and take that broken feat that breaks the game as rare. But guess how many of my NPCs now also have that very same feat? So basically it breaks down to you can choose to include this class in your game or not. And in relations to the organized play, still not sure, but it feels like it's going to be a limited class in the organized play. Maybe you could only play it if you're going through the Wrath of the Immortals storyline for Pathfinder organized play. Or maybe it's like in the video game where you have to earn the special class before you can play it by completing certain requirements in the organized play, because I know organized play does that in some cases where they're, kind of like milestones. You have to do a certain amount of things in the organized play at paths, and then you gain these benefits for your character. So maybe that's what it is. If you do XYZ, then you can choose to play the exemplar in the next game. You unlocked it. That would be one way. The other way would be this is only specific to this adventure path, and you can't play it in any other organized play adventure paths. You can only play the exemplar in the War of the Immortal. And the third way would be, I, as the DM, can tell you I don't want the exemplar in this game because it breaks the game. But then you could say that about the exemplar in any game. You could buy the War of the Immortals storyline and then go, you know what? I don't want this class in my game. And your players would either go, okay, I totally agree with you, or they'd go, yeah, no, we do want to play it. And then you'd have the give and take session 0, and then you'd either decide, yes, okay, fine, you can have an exemplar, but then I get to have 50 NPC exemplars. Or you can go, yeah, no, I don't want this class in my game because I don't want Maui as a player character. I don't know. There's still no real explanation for what rare is, other than maybe it has the potential of breaking the game. Maybe DMs just forget that they can have access to the same things that the players get. Maybe that is a thing we need to talk about in a separate video. I don't know. Closing thoughts. Any insight? Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, James. So yeah, the DM has final say whether it's okay in his game or not, whether it be official or unofficial, but that goes for anything. Right? I mean, the DM could say, there's no sorcerers in my Pathfinder game. And, the players will either go, okay, fine, I'm cool with that, wizards only, or they can go, no, dude, I totally want to play a sorcerer. I'm not going to play in your game. Same thing. The GM can say, there's absolutely no exemplars in this game. I'm not allowing them. I'm not doing the War of the Immortals adventure path, so there's no reason for them to exist. And the players can either be like, I'm totally okay with that. I can just play a paladin. Or they can be like, no, I totally had my heart set on playing Maui, so I'm not playing in your game, dude. Screw you. Which point the DM would probably just go, you could just play a paladin based upon Maui, right? You know that, right? And the player would then go, oh, wait, yeah, you're right. I can. Maybe take a Leverland Druid. All right, I'll play in your game. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. These are both variations on existing classes done in a different way. Of the two, the Animus feels way more confusing to me than the Exemplar. The Exemplar feels very simple to me. It feels very like, this is something I've done before. I get how this works. The Animus is like way more confusing. I'd be like, I don't know. I think my spirit has 3 spells left and I have 1 spell left. But if I switch the spells, then I don't know. My brain just shut down. It's like trying to run Quicken Spell with a sorcerer. I'd probably be more. I think the Exemplar would be more fun, especially if you like the idea of playing Maui. I wonder how many people are going to play Maui. But it also is an easier read. See what's happening here. You're face to face with the OGM and you're confused. Don't be surprised. It's me. It's the OGGM. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. That's all they have on the playtest so far is the 2 classes. So we don't know anything about War of the Immortals yet, other than what they've hinted at. And of course, the hinting is basically you're doing the exact same thing TSR/Wizards of the Coast did with the Avatar trilogy. Hopefully you can make the concept more interesting, because having read the Avatar trilogy books and played through the Avatar trilogy adventure, oh my God, it was so boring. I mean, literally, it could have been the DM and the time period too, but it literally of the worst example of railroading I've ever seen in a game. It was this. Nothing you did could change the outcome. So there's really no reason to play through it. It's like, we know Midnight's going to become the new goddess of magic. Nothing we do will prevent that. Even if one of the player characters wants to become the new god of magic, forget it. It is predestined that that will happen. So up until that moment, because she has plot armor, you can't kill Cyric. Midnight can't die, whatever. So yeah, it was really awful to play through. Maybe Paizo can take this tried and true Crisis on Infinite Earths story idea and make it interesting for the Pathfinder players, and make it an interesting way to explain why so many things from Pathfinder 2nd Edition to Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered have changed. But reminding you once again that even though you have to buy 3 brand new books, it is not a new edition. And even though you have to change all the different characters because the mechanics have changed, it's not a new edition. And even though we're presenting you with a whole bunch of new options that didn't exist before, it's not a new edition. Yes, it is. Till next time, I'm the OGGM. I hope you appreciate this. If you do, let me know. If you never want to see me talk about this topic ever again, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, James Keen, Crap Phone, please take a moment to subscribe. Don't forget to check out my merch on the Red Room, link down below. And I'll talk to you later. My brain hurts after that half an hour. Thanks for sticking with me, guys.